Hey guys, um, so I want to start doing these little videos where I'm just going to go over my trades for the day, just show you all my DOS charts with entries and exits on there, and just give some brief commentary on what I was doing and why. I've done these in the past, and I've definitely gotten a very good response from them. So I figured I would bring them back because I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about on the blog. I'm big into the mental side of trading and having the right mind frame and being mentally strong and all that. And there's only so much you can talk about there, before it starts to get redundant. So I've had a pretty good run for the last year. I've been writing quite a bit of stuff on that. And if you haven't read it all, I think you should. Most of it, 99% of it comes from personal experience. Everything I talk about, has happened to me. That's where it came from. So I think it's good, really good to read. If you're struggling to find consistency. I've probably had every single problem you've had and then some, and talked about it and blogged about it. So definitely go back and read that if you haven't. I think there's some good stuff in there. But that being said, for the most part, there's gonna be a lot less blog posts this year, simply because, like I said, I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about. So I'm kind of shifting the focus over. I'm gonna do a little bit more technicals. I want to continue to put content out for you guys, and if I'm not going to be able to do that via the blog, I'm going to start doing these short little videos every day on my trades. So that's what this is about. I'm not going to be sharing my P&L because I don't think that's important. I don't want you to focus on that. I'd rather you focus on the charts and the ideas and the why, not the result. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. I only traded 4 names today. I kind of took it easy. I didn't do a ton of trading. I was on vacation. I just got back today. I was in Canada for a week over on the West Coast time zone, so I'm a little bit jet lagged and a little out of it today. So I kind of took it easy. But let's go over those 4 trades real quick. First one was BGI. This thing was going right out of the gate. Pretty nice volume. It started going. As soon as I picked it up right around here, around the 180s, I saw it. So I pulled up the daily real quick, and you see we have a nice level here. There's one failed right into the 220, and that coincides pretty nicely with all this, all this junk in here. Really, we could call it, 230-ish is what I was labeling it as. That's quite a bit of resistance there for this thing to get through. So I was interested. So as soon as I saw it going, I figured I'd get started right around the whole number, 2, nice whole number, good area to get started, pop through a little bit. And ultimately the plan was to, add higher into those 2 teens, 220s, and then ultimately use 230 over under as my final destination and risk area there. But we never got it, which is a good problem to have. So we never had to deal with that. It kind of just started washing shortly after I entered. And if you're going to give me a nice washout first thing in the morning, right after I short something, I'm going to take it, 10 times out of 10. There's a time to have patience and a time, to be quick. And trading the open, at least for me, I'm much more of a scalper. I think it's has done me, much more good than bad by being quick first thing in the morning. So we got a nice washout here, right to VWAP, right under VWAP, and I immediately took half off. And started to watch a little bit more. At this point, I'm pretty green on the trade, so I'm just trying to sit here and be patient. I locked half in, trying to wait. Who knows? Maybe this thing will just roll over and go back red. These are the type of names that can do that. But fortunately for us, our buddy Ross Cameron was involved, alerting his people to buy this again. They were part of the reason for it the first time, and then he tried it again here, right around 10, 12 area. This was Ross again. And I tried to reshort it here into VWAP, but IB ran out of shares, so I could not reshort it. That was a bummer. I didn't get a ton of size on initially, like I said, because I was planning on adding into the 2 teens and 220s, but I never really got a chance to do that. So I just kind of left it. Like I said, I would have loved to add there if I had shares, but I didn't. And then it started to fade a little bit more, and then it came down here into the 170s. I didn't really have a particular reason for covering here, other than it was kind of near the low of days. But the main reason was just the time of day. You know, the volume really started to go away here, and it was coming into 11 o'clock. Usually, if these, small cap turds that are running, if they're gonna rebound, it's usually gonna happen between like 11 and noon. So with the volume dying down and coming into the lull time, for me, usually more times than not, that's a sign to just get out of there and get rid of that trade. So I ended up covering the rest of it, and it was just kind of a chop fest the rest of the day. I didn't miss much. CLRB, actually long this morning right out of the gate. They brought some absolutely insane volume to this thing right out of the open. I watch 2-minute charts, but you can see these volume bars here are easily over 1 million shares each. That's just massive, massive volume, especially for a name like this. CLRB, I believe the float is like 4.2, 4.3 million. It's very small. So this thing rotated the float in the first 5 minutes of the day. That's a huge red flag to me. If I'm looking to short it, that's not something I want to even think about shorting. With float rotation that soon in the day, that's a recipe for a runner and a squeezer and just a giant headache on the short side. So I decided I was going to long it. It obviously didn't work. It tried to go for a minute, but then it kind of stuffed. I'm not sure why this didn't go with that amount of volume that they brought right out of the gate. Typically more times than not these things will go. So I was hoping for that, but it stuffed. Didn't want to see two. And then my plan was obviously risking VWAP. So I was hoping it would maybe hold VWAP and trap some people and go, but it kind of just fell right under VWAP pretty easily. And I don't have a ton of patience with my long trades. So as soon as my long trades, get past my risk, I'm out like immediately. So we went sub VWAP here and just bailed on it. Took the paper cut, no big deal. Dries. I saw dries. I wanted to short it very early on in the day. After this huge spike, it obviously caught my attention. But then it washed gave that whole spike back, and then it just started to pull. And I was watching it. I wanted to short it here, but it just felt like such a chase at that point because we do have the SSR on, and this thing did just reverse split, and it is thinner than usual. So I kind of left it alone. I refrained from shorting it. I was going to wait for the rebound, which I did. I started in here in the fives, right around 5.10. Based on the volume, see, we started to get some volume pick up here. Started to speed up again a little bit. So I was starting in the low fives, ultimately with the plan to add higher into red to green. So that is what I did. I started adding little pieces on the way up as we got closer to red to green. And when I say my risk is red to green, it doesn't mean that the second this thing goes green is I'm just going to freak out, uncover. I want to give it a chance to test that level over under, especially when we're dealing with this type of volume. See this really big volume speed up here into red to green, really, really climactic volume. That's when everybody's stopping out. So that's really not when you want to be stopping out. I know that's the scariest time of the day, scariest time of the trade, but that's really the time you do not want to be stopping out. So you try and plan ahead for that. I probably could have traded this a little better, but I was proud of not stopping out there based on this volume. So it came back under. Had it held here, had it held 520s and when retested green again, I would have been out, almost immediately. Because the second time around, that's usually bad news. That would not have been part of the plan. So I ended up covering some here, just flat. It was very small green. It's close to my average here, so I just wanted to get out of some. I was kind of red on this for a minute. So I covered up here, took some pieces off. Then I covered up the rest just before VWAP. I thought that, this thing was this was a pretty big squeeze. So I thought maybe it was more crowded than I thought, and it might hold. So I was just trying to cover up here before VWAP, thinking it might squeeze again. And small green on that. And that was it.